What's cracking, everybody? This is the Chaos Bikes channel. I'm your host, Chaos, and today we're going to talk about 10 really bad motorized bicycle crashes from 2018 to 2020. And just before we get started here, I want to preface this by saying this isn't a video compilation or anything, because videos of this stuff are really hard to find. It's more of a PSA. It's going to show 10 different articles of really bad crashes regarding motorized bicycles. It's not going to be a super long video, but I think you should check it out. It might give you bit of a different frame of thinking when you decide to ride. You should always wear your helmet, folks. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, folks, so here we are. I've got a few articles here for you, like I was saying, and I really want you to think about this when you're riding, folks. These things are super fucking dangerous. So, boy 17 killed riding motorized bike in South LA collision. This is September 1st, 2018. 17-year-old boy was killed when his motorized bike collided with a car. Two teens on a motorized bike, not on motorized bikes. This is what gets me, though. One of them was at the controls while the other sat in front of him. They got hit. So the one kid, Jalen, died in the crash. The passenger was taken to the hospital with a broken leg, and no charges will be filed for the driver because he didn't run away. So there you go. Poor kid died. He probably wasn't wearing a helmet, and he had someone on the front of his bike. These are things that just aren't smart, folks, at all. Moving on to the next one. Motorized bicycle kills pedestrian. So this was April 1st, 2019. The article was written and it happened on March 26th. It claimed the life of a pedestrian. He was 72 and he was hit by the bike. The motorized bike was operated by an unidentified male, age 54. The pedestrian was walking across the street when he was struck by the bicyclist, and he later died of his injuries at a local hospital. The bicyclist suffered injuries as well. So that's pretty bad, folks. He sounds like wasn't paying attention. One or the other wasn't paying attention, and he got smoked by the bicyclist, and both of them got hurt. One of them got killed, unfortunately. You got to be aware when you're riding these things, folks. A lot of times cars can't hear you, or they don't realize that you're going so fast because you're on a bicycle. Alright, here's another one. So this is from June 3rd, 2019, and a Helena man dies after crashing a motorized bicycle. 49-year-old Helena man died after crashing a motorized bicycle. Dupree was headed north on Montana Avenue on a motor-assisted bicycle when he struck a curb and was thrown from the bike. He was transported to the hospital where he died as a result of blunt force injuries, and the police say that alcohol is believed to be a factor. So here's another key point, folks. Don't drink and ride these things. I mean, they're dangerous machines. A lot of times, because of the Chinese build quality and inexperience of a lot of builders, they're not built to specifications like a motorcycle. They're not going to handle the abuse. They're not going to handle a crash. They're not going to handle much of anything anywhere near what a motorcycle will. Alright, let's move on to the next one here. Man riding motorized bicycle seriously injured after crash into vehicle. So a 48-year-old man riding a motorized bike may not survive. He sustained major injuries and attempted to cross from the west side of the street to the east side of the street, crashed at nearly a 90-degree angle into the passenger side of a gray 2014 Subaru traveling northbound. So he basically hit a moving car. Sounds like the bicyclist wasn't paying attention. The bike overturned and the victim was taken to hospital with major blunt force trauma. His survival is in question. Now, I didn't get an update on this article, but it just makes you think, folks. That was in August of 2019. Now here we are in September of 2019, so just a year ago. Kitchener man dies following motorized bicycle crash. This is getting ridiculous, folks. This is all over the news. I mean, this is not looking good for us as motorized bicycle riders. We have to keep this shit in check. You guys got to wear your helmets. We got to start really watching out for each other, watching out for traffic, and just being really aware. So an air ambulance took the man to Hamilton General Hospital on August 24th. Again, that's 2019. And police say the man died from his injuries on Sunday. The cyclist was at fault and had made a left turn in front of a Kia Rondo. So again, it sounds like the cyclist was at fault here, and awareness is key. We're going to get into another one here. I believe this is the one. I want to mention something about this one as well. So 57-year-old rider suffers injuries to his head and spine in crash. This was October 2nd of 2019. He was hospitalized, and the crash happened around 10:55 p.m. So it was dark. He probably didn't have a light, so on and so forth. He was riding southbound in the two-way bike lane. The man lost control of the two-wheeler for unknown reasons and crashed. Serious injuries to his head and spine, which are not to believe to be life-threatening. So he didn't die. He lost control for an unknown reason. And again, it sounds like bicycle error or bicycle rider error. It's not the one I was thinking of. So this might be it here. Charlottesville man death in motorized bicycle crash ruled accidental. I believe this is it here. So the man who crashed his motorized bicycle into a deep pothole. Yes, it is. It was ruled accidental. He died as a result of multiple injuries caused by the accident, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. The cycle flipped end over end. Now, this is where it comes into play, where you got to think, folks, the short wheelbase of a regular pedal bike is not designed to do speeds that these motorized bicycles can achieve. It's designed for like 20 tops kilometers an hour, you know, 10 to 15 miles an hour tops maybe. And motorized bikes go so much faster. With such a short wheelbase, it's dangerous. When you hit a pothole, your front end dips and the back end comes up really quick, right? So this is where I always am an advocate of building custom frames for your bikes. Frames that are designed for an engine, that are longer, that absorb the shock and aren't going to throw you over the bars as soon as something happens, like a pothole, for example. Because if the cycle flipped over end over end, it just means exactly that. His center of gravity is too high and his wheelbase is too short, so he had no control of the bike, unfortunately. I've got a few more here that I want to talk about. So this is here in August of 2020, so just not that long ago. Simon Cowell, host of whatever he's the host of, I can't even remember. How Safe Are E-Bikes? He crashed, folks. So he bought a new e-bike, I guess. He broke his back in multiple places while trying out his new e-bike in the courtyard of his California home. And the manufacturer of his e-bike claims it's the most technically advanced and most powerful electric bicycle on the market with a 15 kilowatt electric power motor, which sounds insane. And it's called the Swind EB01. Cowell, who is 60, underwent 6 hours of surgery that included placing a metal rod in his back. Now, good thing this isn't a two-stroke one, but it's still a power-assisted bicycle or motorized bicycle, depending how you look at it. And people are getting hurt, and this is ending up in the news, folks. This is really not good. Before we go on to these next couple here, I just want to say, if you're enjoying this and you find this informative or entertaining, please go ahead and throw a like and a subscribe. Subscribe will keep you up to date on other videos, and you can also check out my other channel. I'll leave a pop-up bubble here. And also, if you feel like donating to the channel, that would be awesome. It helps me bring you more premium content, so I'd really appreciate that, folks. So anyways, let's move on here. E-bike rider in critical condition following crash in Barrie. So this is August 14th of 2020, and a man riding an e-bike crashed into a hydro pole. Like, what? The bike veered off the road at Celeste Drive and hit the pole. The details why the bike left the road are not disclosed. A 28-year-old rider suffered life-threatening injuries. So again, this is rider error. Maybe he was drunk or who knows what happened. But having a bike that has too much power or you aren't used to it and you're pushing your limits a little far can get you really hurt, folks. On to the next one here is September 10th, 2020. So this is just not that long ago, a couple of weeks ago. A Maine teen riding a motorized bicycle killed in crash, police say. Now, this doesn't appear to be the teen's fault, but let's read into this here a little bit. So a teenager was killed in a crash. Police said he was riding in the opposite lane just after 7 p.m. before being struck by a vehicle heading the other way. Thick fog and poor visibility are factors in the crash, and it's still under investigation. So what this tells me is either the teen wasn't informed on proper use of bicycles and, you know, being in the correct side of traffic, not riding into traffic, but riding with traffic. And the bike probably didn't have a light. So, I mean, a light can definitely help. And if he was riding by choice out in the fog, it's kind of a bad decision, right? Because, like, if visibility is that poor, I mean, I'm assuming he probably wasn't riding for an emergency. He probably could have stuck around wherever he was at, or just, you know, if he was at a friend's house, he could have stayed the night or what have you. And I think this is where education really comes into play, folks, because, like, if you know more about this, like, for example, having a light and not riding in the fog, then it's less likely you're going to get in situations such as this and get yourself killed or injured. And I mean, whether he was wearing a helmet or not is kind of irrelevant. If you get fucking smoked by a car, you're probably not going to survive. But let's keep this video under 10 minutes here. Again, if you enjoyed this, if you found it informative or entertaining, please go ahead and give me a like and subscribe if you want to stick up to date on the most current content that I'm putting out. Some fucking word salad there. And also make sure you hit that bell to get notifications when I go live. I'm going to try to be putting out as many videos as I can. Be safe out there, folks. Wear your helmets. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Peace out.